Hi friends, my name is Ansgar and today I'm going to show you how to change your acoustic guitar strings. So let's just put the jacket down. This one, by the way, is for Lora Oliver. For this video we're going to be using a guitar multi-tool. This one here is by, what is that, Journeyman Precision, also labeled as JP. It's called Farley's Guitar Tool. I got this a long time ago, never let me down. It has some cutters here, a little bit of a gripping thing here, a couple of screwdrivers that'll fold out there, Swiss Army style. One of the most useful things is our little pry tool, whatever you want to call that, to lift the bridge pins up, and then you've got a small assortment of Allen keys on the back, and that is by far the best 25 or 30 bucks I've spent on guitar equipment. Next thing I've got here is a clip-on tuner. Now you can get these from probably a dozen or maybe even 100 different manufacturers these days. I got this one from, what is that, TC Electronic. I've got a couple tuners from these guys. I like them. Not endorsing them by any means, but that's just what I like. Next, I used a set of Elixir strings. These are coated. My hands, they get kind of sweaty when I play. This extends the string life. I'm not recording with them, so the loss of tone due to the coating on these doesn't bother me at all. And yeah, I mean, you can get whatever strings you want, cheap or expensive. These tend to last a month or two, whereas the other ones I use, if they're just plain strings, may only last a couple weeks. And that's it for the tools and whatnot that we'll be using here. So here we have a guitar in need of a string change. Now what we're going to be doing first is changing one string at a time. And the very first thing to do is loosen the strings. I like to start with the bottom E string, the low E. So first we'll just unwind that guy. You can hear he's basically flapping around, no tension on it. Next thing you want to do is grab a guitar tool or something to pry the pins out. A lot of times you can get them just with your fingers, like that, but sometimes it'll require a guitar tool of sorts. This happens to be my favorite one. It has this little metal prying arm thingy. You can just get right under the bridge pin and lift up gently, and then with your fingers the rest of the way take the pin out. Since we didn't need that, I'll probably show you on another one. We'll get a close-up on that one too. So from there you can take the ball end out. Then, easiest thing to do, unwrap out of the tuning machine post, and we'll put that to the side for now. Grab your favorite set of strings. I just happen to like the coated ones because they last a long time. So find your new E string here, unwrap it. Be careful because the core of these things is a little bit on the pointy side and you can stab yourself, and that's no fun bleeding on your guitar. So we grab the ball end of this guy, get our bridge pin, find where the little channel or slot in the bridge pin is, and we face that toward the string. So we put the ball end into the bridge, face the slot toward the headstock there, poke the bridge pin down in, and holding that with a little bit of pressure from your finger, pull that string up until it stops on the ball. Next thing we do is we'll straighten out that tuning machine a little bit so that the hole points in the general direction of the neck. Take your string and put it through the end of the tuning machine. Get your string situated in the nut slot there, and well, you basically start tuning. With the E, you don't have to put what we call a lock on it, which is basically a wrap back to make sure the string doesn't wander free, shall we say. But you can do it if you really want. So for this one, I'm not too worried because I know with this guitar, the tuners are still pretty new, pretty good, and have not had any string slip yet. So we've got our string mostly in there. You can hear I've started to tune it up, but if we do our 5th fret on the E and compare it to the A, it doesn't quite match up. So we need a little more tension. We'll tune that guy up, then we will trim the string. We'll check again at the 5th fret of the E string. Not quite. Not quite. Ah, we're getting closer. Oh, what do you know? There we go. Perfect tune. So, next thing we do is trim that extra string. Once again, using my guitar tool, and we'll just trim as close to the tuning machine as possible. There you go. You can discard of that now. And on to the next string. Now we're going to change the A string. And my lovely assistant reminded me that I forgot to tell you, nice folks out there in internet land, how to tell what string you're changing and what the different strings mean. On this set we have 39, 30, 23, 14, 10, and the 47, which we already changed. Now these are the nominal sizes of the guitar string itself. So 10 is the thinnest, 47 is the thickest. I think you can tell, thin on the bottom, thick on the top. Kind of go from there. So for changing the A string, we keep going with the same exact thing. We will loosen the tuning machine until the A string basically just flops around into nothing, until you can't tell what note it's playing. Next, we'll grab our guitar tool with the peg lifter or peg tool and just pop that guy free. No need to try and remove the peg with this. We'll just use our fingers for that. So grab the peg out, set him safely to the side, pull out the ball end of the string, and unwind it from the machine head. So we grab our A string, set the packaging aside, unwrap that A string, once again being careful not to poke yourself with the pointy end. Grab that ball end here, poke them in the hole, get your peg, find the slot, face that towards the neck, put that down there, and make sure you always line that slot up real good. Pull the string tight as you can, then bring the A string down, set it in the nut slot, and we'll show you how to string it up again in just a second. We're going to start by unwinding the tuning machine a little so that the hole right here, you probably can't see it too well with the angle that the camera's at, but so the hole is more or less aligned down the neck. Poke the string through the hole in the tuner. For this one, I'm going to do a little bit of a wrap or lock wrap on this guy. So, holding the string out here at the end, we bring it down and feed it underneath the same string, the A string that we're working with. Pull it tight. Make sure it's wrapped all the way around that peg, around that tuning machine barrel. And then lift it straight up and away. And from here we start to tune. And what you'll see is that when we're tuning, let me see if I can get this so the camera grabs it right. When we're tuning, the string wraps back on itself, creating what we call a lock or a locking wrap. And that way, if you've got slippery strings, if you've got old tuners, you won't have the string slipping loose out of the tuner and you won't be constantly retuning it. Now I'm going to do the same thing that we did again with the E string, which is testing its tune with the next string down by pressing on the 5th fret of the A and testing against the open D. You can hear that A is really low. So let's keep going. Test it again. Oh, it's pleasant, but not the right note. Test it again. Ooh, getting closer because it sounds horrible. Almost there. There we go. We're just about there. Now all we do is we trim the top of the string off and move on to the next string, doing the same exact thing. So far we've done our E and our A strings, and now we're going to turn the camera off for a moment, do the rest of the strings, then we'll get back and show you how to do a basic tune, stretch the strings, and well, after that you'll be done. Right. So here we have our guitar restrung. Made sure none of the pins have popped out of place. We've made sure none of the strings have slipped on the peg head, or well, headstock, sorry. And right now, we haven't stretched the strings, so that's the next thing to do. Because new strings, well, they're going to take a little bit of stretching to get settled into place. Now you can hear, it's almost in tune. A little bit of stretching, it'll be horridly out of tune, just like this. You can hear that, that's almost an E. Grab it at the 12th fret, under the string. What we're going to do is just lift up with a little bit of tension. Maybe get it an inch off the fretboard, something like that. And now you can hear this thing went way slack and is way lower than it should be. So let's tune that back up to where we approximate our E at. Grab it by the 12th again, maybe bounce it a little bit, inch and a quarter off the fretboard. That's pretty close. All right, so there we go. We've stretched the string into place. And what you can do now is grab your tuner. I like these clip-on tuners. You can use a mic tuner. You can, if you've got a acoustic electric guitar, you can plug into a pedal tuner or whatever you've got laying around. I really like these little clip-on guys. They're easy to use. They've gotten way more accurate in the last 20-ish years. And they're just quite a joy to have. So I'm going to now tune up my E string. What was that guy? That little slip there. And make sure we're more or less at E. Ah, we're a little sharp. Okay, so that can be our basic reference for the rest of the time we're tuning, which, if you want to know, we go 5th fret of E, should be the A string, so you can hear that A is a tiny bit sharp. Let's go ahead and stretch that A string. Again, just pull it up an inch to an inch and a quarter off the 12th fret. You can hear it's gone quite flat, so let's tune that back up. Again, grab it at the 12th fret, bounce it around a little bit. Not trying to rip the strings off or anything. And just do that a couple times until this settles in place. Now, you will see a lot of different people doing different ways of setting the strings in or bending, well, stretching the strings. This is one that I've found that works pretty well. a lot of people will grab the neck and do a bend here, 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 all the way up. Repeat that, go back down. Everybody's got their own way to do it. This is just one way to do it. So let's go ahead and stretch that D string now. Yep, massively flat. And again, we're using that A at the 5th fret as our reference for the D note. Stretch it a little more. Probably take a little more stretch in there. And naturally, as you play this thing, the strings will tend to settle in just a little bit more. It's not going to be perfect the first time, and no guitar is going to hold tune for more than maybe a day if you don't play it a lot. Let's grab that G string, stretch her out. Oh, you hear that? Ooh. Oh. Now it's flat. Again, I'm using the D string at the 5th fret to reference my open G string. So, and remember, the thinner strings do have thinner chords, especially the G string, since it's a wound string, and it is the thinnest. It's going to have the thinnest chord, so don't go too crazy on the G string. Now, for the B string, we're going to fret the G string at the 4th fret as our reference for B. And these are the plain strings. You can stretch that a little. Tune it, stretch it, tune it, stretch it. And we'll go to the E string now. Again, on the E string, you can reference the 5th fret of the B string. There we go. Tune this up a little more, stretch it a little more. Just about in tune. I'll use my clip-on tuner to do the final tune. Here is a close-up of our tuner. So we've got an E there. You can see the bar goes green in the middle. There's, oh, now it's going all over the place because it has such a low signal. B, again, the bar is in the middle, so that means it's in tune. G, same thing, bar in the middle. Ah, look at that, it's holding tune pretty well. So if I take our A string, put it purposefully sharp, you can see that bar move up, purposefully flat, you can see it move down, go right back to the middle, boom. One thing I forgot to mention earlier was that you always want to tune your guitar up. One big reason for that is you have this amount of tension over a solid nut, which may or may not, depending on your guitar, have any lubricating properties to it. So what happens is if you lower your tension, you could have a lower tension here, start lowering it, and this part doesn't catch up because the string is snagged on the nut a little bit. So always tune up, it'll result in better tuning stability. That is how I change my guitar strings and tune up the guitar afterward. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comments below. Hopefully I'll see those and respond in a, well, somewhat timely manner. Bye.